And welcome to this edition of Run Better, the series that looks at how businesses big and small are using technology to become more agile. I'm Carmen Wong-Ulrich. This afternoon, we're going to discuss how SAP solutions are helping customers run their organizations as one, from the largest business units to the smallest remote offices. Joining me are Eric Brown, CEO of Johnson Products, Denise Clark, CIO of Hasbro, and Jeff Stiles, Senior Vice President of Solution Marketing at SAP. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and Jeff, I'm going to start with you. SAP has been investing a lot of resources in creating these solutions for the business partnerships and for your subsidiaries. Why is this so important at this point?
Well, supporting subsidiary operations is just a fundamental customer requirement. And by the way, those requirements are not homogeneous. They differ depending on the type of subsidiary, the location, really what the company and the subsidiaries are trying to accomplish. So really the business driver is to deliver value to companies of all types. And we've learned that really bringing one solution to the market doesn't solve all customers' problems. So, I'd say it's really just a fundamental need to support delivery of business value more quickly to more types of companies and their subsidiaries.
That's great. Now, Denise, in 2009, Hasbro opened new offices in Latin America. But before that, everything was based out of Miami in terms of distribution. So this was a very, very big change. Why did you choose SAP to help you with this?
We were already using SAP as our core technology. We looked at other solutions, but we really kept coming back because it's all about agile execution. And we believed that we could do the SAP Business One solution very quickly. And that was really the driver for us.
So this was about quickly,
it really was.
And quickly.
Yes.
Okay, now you also used Blue Ocean Systems is part of this
We did.
triumvirate. You got the three of you, so Blue Ocean Systems, Hasbro, and SAP. Right. How did that work together?
Well, it worked very well, and it worked well because we didn't have a lot of understanding about some of the regulatory issues that were happening within some of these markets in Latin America, and really Blue Ocean has those resources. And so we were able to leverage their help along with our understanding of SAP, and the threesome really worked well.
That's great. And Eric, family company, right?
Correct.
And you were acquired by Procter & Gamble, a huge company, in 2003 and spun off 6 years later. So you quickly had to adapt and ramp up your production in terms of keeping up with P&G.
True. Yes.
So why did you chose Business by Design by SAP for that? Why?
Well, Business by Design was really the only solution that gave us the confidence that we were able to come up and get live and be on our own 2 feet, so to speak, within the time frame that was required. It was a situation where we had to be out of Procter & Gamble in really, from the implementation time, about 30 days. So it wasn't too many choices. Too many people would step up to the plate with that type of requirement in front of them.
That's 30 days. That's very, very quick. Now, Jeff, there's a lot of business challenges, of course. You had regulatory challenges, you had a time issue. And how have working with Hasbro and Johnson kind of helped you shape other solutions for other companies?
Well, I think the first thing in understanding really diverse requirements is to look at how to best deliver them in the right package. And when I say package, I don't just mean packaged integration. So if someone needs to do periodic financial reconciliation, it's a lot different than committing inventory from a central store. So understanding the requirements, packaging, and then the other thing that I've seen a lot and that I hear a lot from customers about is really having predictability in the deployment. So you mentioned Business One, you're using Business by Design, other customers are using Business All-in-One, but one common requirement that I hear is the need to not only have that local expertise, but to either have it delivered in a fixed time, scope, or fee-based deployment as well.
And Denise, Jeff mentioned Business One. What are the benefits of working with Business One for Hasbro, especially in the markets that you're now going into?
Right. We're continuing to evolve new markets around the world. And so, again, I come back to agile execution. It's really about being able to do that quickly, to find business partners in markets that can help us do that. And our success factors have truly been the fact that we can supply and support the business that quickly. Not unlike what's happening at Johnson, we've been able to do that in 30 to 60 days. And it's really been dependent on how many people are in the office that can help drive the solution. So.
And Eric, you also, the last 18 months, you've had a divestiture from Procter & Gamble. So how has Business by Design by SAP helped you with that? Another big change for you.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that it allows me being a small company and my company being relatively small in terms of resources that are available to act and execute like big guys. I want to be like Denise over here in terms of being able to execute. I ship to all the big box retailers, and they have the same requirements on a Procter & Gamble as they would have on a Johnson product. So I've got to be able to execute and still make sure I supply their needs.
Absolutely, you have to. Now, Denise, let's talk about the future. Actually, everybody, let's talk about the future. What are your plans for these emerging markets, for all these new markets around the world for Hasbro? You have those challenges in Latin America. What are some of the new challenges and the new plans?
Well, the new plans is our next move is into Russia. And we're opening an office in Moscow, and it comes with a new set of challenges, right? It really is a very different market for us. We are also in the process of doing an ERP implementation of SAP on ECC6. And so if we miss a market in a region that we're implementing, we'll go back later, but we'll bring them up on Business One and then swing back later and put them on the core. So we're not truly integrating these emerging markets into the core because our intention is only to have them on Business One for 12 to 24 months. And then we bring them into the fold with the rest of the company. So it's a little bit of a different model than some other companies are using with Business One, but we really see it as kind of an interim step.
Now, growing so globally, I'll follow up with in terms of what is the role of the subsidiaries in terms of the headquarters and the subsidiaries in this rollout? What's the changing roles, or what are their roles, and do they change?
Their role is really to drive as much revenue as they can, as quickly as they can, and what we're looking for is great success in these markets. And then, if there is success, then we roll them into the corporate infrastructure. But I think out of the gate, we want to make sure that that's proven. We've been very lucky. All of our emerging markets are in double and triple digit growth, so we're experiencing some phenomenal success in these emerging markets.
Jeff, a lot of growth, a lot of different areas, and a lot of challenges. So what would you say are the two kind of big factors in terms of adapting quickly and what you've learned from your relationship with Hasbro and with Johnson?
Well, first of all, start from the requirements of the subsidiary or the business partner themselves. I think we often think about just templating, deployment, and cookie cuttering, and so on. You really need to look at those unique needs, the geography, the integration requirements, et cetera. That's the first one. And the second thing, I think, is really focus on standardizing to the degree that you can. Every business is unique, and you have to customize to support business uniqueness. But I like to say vanilla is my favorite flavor. If you can deploy these solutions in a standard way, you get the benefit of fast deployment, and you can manage the integration and the cost of ownership over time.
As long as it's organic and vanilla bean.
Absolutely.
And Eric, when Johnson first started, the competitive marketplace was such a different place. Now, so much competition out there in your market. What are your future plans?
Well, our future plans is to also expand internationally. We'll be opening up an international office in South Africa this year. So that's a whole new market, and having it on a system and a platform that is expandable and it has some elasticity is important to us. So not only are we growing up, we're growing sideways as well, in a sense, with more markets, and we're pretty excited.
Great, and a word that's come up a lot that we've have tweeted a lot is more detail. If you can give us a little bit more detail in terms of what benefits have your companies received in dealing with these solutions that SAP has given you. I mean, you mentioned the challenges of regulation. Are there any other things that are really, really important that SAP has given you in terms of agility and mobility?
Well, I would like to say that it has provided me with a lot of system transparency in that the old executive term of a glitch in the system doesn't exist anymore. So that now we're able to now focus on our business and not so much wanted to know what we just did, but what can we do and how do we do it better. And that's the type of information that allows us to be competitive, have a competitive advantage. Because yes, it is always a competitive world, whereas before we used to be very competitive here in the United States. It's a global competitive world now.
Yes, absolutely. You're competing globally. Jeff, what innovations are in the pipeline here?
Well, there's more that is coming in terms of packaged integration. Here at the show, we're announcing additional integrations with Business by Design for subsidiaries. But I think the other thing to look at is what we're doing with partners, large and small. We talked about having that regulatory or industry-specific or geographic expertise. Well, we're going to really expand our focus with large systems integrators and with boutique firms that have particular competencies. So both in terms of the package capabilities we deliver to make it faster, but also in terms of really helping to bring them either through a central IT organization, many organizations are like that, or directly to the subsidiaries if they choose to purchase independently. So a lot of innovation technically, but also around how we're serving customers.
And speaking of customers, Denise and Eric, what are, give a bit of advice here. What are some lessons that you've learned in dealing with this and all the adapting? Talk to us a little bit about what you've learned.
Number one lesson, keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
We love that one.
I really like the idea of, talking about keeping it vanilla. The more customizations you make to tools like this, the harder they become to implement and to keep maintained. So, my encouragement to everyone out there is to just keep it as vanilla as you
That only gets more complex when you add multiple subsidiaries in different geographies and currencies and regulations and so on. So.
And Eric, what about you?
Well, I certainly would agree with the keep it simple approach, as well as there really is value in planning that project up front and making sure that you don't allow project scope to creep in, where you go beyond what your really core is required, and that is the benefit of having a very, very strong team internally and externally. That the expertise that an SAP can bring to the table.
Great, thank you so much, Eric, Denise, and Jeff. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for joining us.